Hello everybody, finalKenpachi here. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. In this video, it's gonna be a long video guys. We got information about the new bigger than Doomtown content boss. We saw his skill. I'm gonna show you guys real quickly. Grab your coffees and enjoy the video. Alright everybody, here is the our boss. As you guys see, there is lots of the things to read. I hope you guys bring your coffee already. But before we started, I have a bit surprise for you guys. That was his base form. Boss has a two different form, and each form has a different skills. I have to say a couple of things before I start the video. First of all, we don't know the boss skill order, like which skill boss using first. I'm gonna be assume he's using A3, A2, and A1, both of the form. Hopefully, it's gonna be like that, because otherwise it's gonna be hard to deal with him. Also, we don't know if this is going to be a farmable boss, guys. You know, like, are we just need to beat him one time, that's all, or are we just keep attack the boss to get a more reward, you know? Because Manuel, I think, looks a little bit possible to deal with him, little bit, by the way. Yes, it's gonna be difficult, but auto is another story, guys. I don't know what we are gonna do. Anyway, we talk a lot already. Let's get started. All right, everybody. Before you guys getting complicated from the skills, I read the skills a lot actually. I got some ideas. It's not that complicated. First of all, there is a 3 passive skill. We already know what are they. Both of the form has exactly same passive skill, guys. Obviously, there's some passive skill are unique to the each form. We are gonna talk that separately. First of all, let's talk about the passive skill we already know from the PvE content. Almighty Strength. That's the passive skill, guys. You guys probably know them from the heart dungeon bosses. Damage from skill that or the Hydra, for example. Damage from skill that scale based off the enemy max HP cannot exceed 5%. Yes, 5%, guys, not 10%. 5% of the boss max HP when attacking the boss. Normally this is 10%. So which means champion like enemy max HP like Cold Art, Royal Guard, Husk, Akrisia, you know, G-Nut, their damage gonna be a little bit low on this boss, guys. Okay. And also the another thing, Almighty Immunity passive skill. This is the passive skill, guys. Basically make the boss immune pretty much to every CC debuff. Also the HP exchange effect, HP balancing effect, and the cooldown increasing effect. He's going to be immune all of them. This passive skill, both of the form, guys. Alright. And the awakening weakness, I call that pay to win weakness. Decrease the damage inflicted by the boss for the each awakening level on the target champion. 2.5% for the every 1-2 level on your awakening, 5% for every 3 6-star, stack up to 20%. So more awakening you have on your team, guys, you are gonna take less damage from the boss. Also, more awakening you have, you are gonna deal more damage from the second part. Increase the damage received from the boss for each awakening level on the attacking champion. 5% for the 1-2 level and 10% for 3-6 level for stack up 50%, guys. So this is the passive skill. Have both of the form. Let's get rid of them and let's read the normal skill, more unique skill right now. Alright everybody, here we are. We are back again. We are in the base form. Okay. First of all, let's get rid of this two unique passive skill it doesn't have on his second form. We also gonna be understand how is the boss second form is works. Because there is no skill that saying, hey, transfer this form boss to the alternate form, right? So it's coming from this passive skill, guys. Archon Ascendance. Active effect. At the start of Aminus turn, place an Eclipse buff on him for 3 turns. This buff cannot be removed, transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased by enemies or the allies. This skill will be 4 turn cooldown. Sorry about the sneeze. This skill will be 4 turn cooldown at the start of the battle whenever Amuse is the boss name, transform into the base form. Passive effect. Revives Amuse with the 30% HP and 50% tormentor when killed while under Eclipse buff. This effect only activate if the Amuse is killed in alternate form. So alternate form, how does that work? This is the alternate form, guys. Eclipse buff. Whenever he's under Eclipse buff, he's gonna use the skill from alternate form. Alright? And whenever you kill them from alternate form, because he's going to be under Eclipse buff. He's coming back to life with the 30% HP and 50% turn meter. So I hope you guys understand. This skill will be 4 turn cooldown at the start of the battle, and whenever Amuse is the transform in the base form. This is the thing. Start of the battle, this skill gonna be on the cooldown, guys. 4 turn cooldown. So in the next 4 turns start of the battle, we are gonna face his normal form. Let's take a look. Another passive skill. Alright everybody, we are in the A4 skill right now. Robot in the Moonlight. This is also the passive skill. Whenever an enemy is healed, Amuse also healed by 25%. It's not gonna work from the weapon HP or the equalizing HP. Heal Amuse by 100% of the damage inflicted against the shield buff. If the shield is removed from the damage from the Amuse, will heal to the full value of the shield. Whenever an enemy decreases skill cooldown from the artifact, accessories, masteries, or the skill, also decrease the cooldown of the Amuse, a 5 skill, which is the Eclipse buff skill, by 1 turn, guys. So if you guys reduction your cooldown, doesn't matter where, you are also going to be reduction cooldown of the boss A5 skill, Eclipse buff skill, guys. Alright, keep that on your mind. Maybe you can do some tactic, you know, hey man, like I don't like your first form anyway, so I'm just going to place a cooldown reset champion there, and I'm going to force you to use this buff beginning of the fight. It's a alternative. We didn't check the second form, we will check soon. You guys gonna be same, but this is healing is bad, right? Placing shield also bad. So this is what we learn from this passive skill. Alright, let's quickly look to the A3 skill right now, A2 and the A1 next. Remove any block buff debuff from the Amuse and replace them with the block debuff buff lasting for 3 turns. Also remove any debuff negatively affecting the stat and replace them with their mirror buff equal. Such as, for example, if you land a decrease attack on the boss, he's going to remove it and replace it with the increase attack buff. If you land a decrease defense debuff on the boss, he's going to remove it and he's going to place an increased defense buff. Something like that, guys. Like heal reduction and the weaken will be replaced with the continuous heal and the strength buff, for example, etc, etc, etc. Then he's going to place a stun debuff on all enemies except Mythical champion for 1 turn, and force all Mythical champion to change their form. Finally, heal boss turn meter by 10% for each debuff converted into the buff by this skill. So the tactic is very simple. We are gonna buff ourselves, not debuff the boss while this skill is ready. For example, if we use the block debuff buff, guys, before boss use this ability, we can get rid of the stun debuff, right? We are not gonna get any stun debuff. Another thing is we have to make sure we are not debuffing boss yet, guys, because if we debuff the boss before this skill, then it's gonna remove them and replace them with the buff equal to the effect. But on the A2 skill, attack all enemy, AU attack, 3 turn cooldown, both of the skill. Before attacking, increase the duration of the all buff and decrease the duration of the all debuff from the boss. Also, heal the boss by 20% of his max HP. Heal increased by 5% for each buff that has its duration is increased. Also heal boss turn meter by 10% for each debuff that has duration is decreased. So basically, if we don't debuff the boss, guys, if we wait the boss get a turn, and if the boss using A3 skill first, after A3 skill, guys, we can debuff the boss, right? And yes, he's gonna be decrease the duration of the debuff, and he's also gonna get some turn meter boost from it, but it's still not gonna give boss any buff, which is the good, because given the boss buff is gonna be give him heal, it's gonna increase the duration of the buff as well, and it's gonna be hard to deal with him, right? And the A1 skill, guys, another attack enemy, okay, increase the damage inflicted by skill by 10% for each buff on the Amuse. Again, we need to be super careful whenever we are using our debuff, right? We have to be super careful about that, guys. Like, we cannot use any debuff just before this skill is ready. We have to use our debuff after the A3 skill. After the boss use the A3 skill. So increase the damage inflicted by this skill by 10% for each buff on the Amuse. Also heal Amuse by the 100% of the damage dealt. Include damage to the shield. So shield again, like doesn't matter you are under shield, he's gonna get healed. So heal reduction debuff seems like must needed, but again we need to be careful about when we are casting heal reduction debuff. We have to be cast or heal reduction, decrease defense, decrease attack, whatever after the A3 skill, guys. This is a tactic I think gonna be work, but obviously everything we talk here for the next 4 turn, because after 4 turn boss gonna switch the alternate form. Now let's take a look the alternate form. Alright guys, we are in the alternate form. Before you guys get complicated, they are very similar ability, you guys gonna be understand right now. There's just one different on the alternate form, guys, which is the alternate form has only one unique passive skill. Let's take a look this passive skill right now. Scarlet Eclipse. Reduce the amount of the healing that enemies receive by 50% when Amuse is under Eclipse buff when he's on the alternate form. Ignore shield, block damage and unkillable buff when Amuse is under Eclipse buff. Finally, whenever an enemy cooldown is decreased from the artifact, accessories, masteries or the skill, instantly activate Amuse Abyssal Construct, which is the A1 skill, guys, okay? Against the random enemy. We are gonna check the A1 skill, don't worry about it. Maybe this passive skill can give you guys some idea, you know. While he was on the first form, we have to be careful about when we are debuff the boss. This is the opposite. We have to be careful now, guys, when we are buffing or champion. Alright, let's continue from the A3, A2 and the A1 skill. We are in second form A3 skill right now. Remove any block debuff buff from enemies and replace them with the block buff debuff. Lasting for 3 turns. Also remove any buff positively affecting the stat and replace them with the mirror debuff equal. Like on the previous form, in his first form, when we cast a debuff on him, let's say we cast a decrease attack debuff, right? He's removing it and he's replaced with the increased attack buff on himself, right? On the boss. Now he's doing opposite. He's taken any buff positively affecting our champion and replaced them with the negative effect. Like say, if we have an increased attack buff on our champion, he's gonna remove and replace with the decreased attack debuff. Continuous heal and strength will be replaced with the heal reduction and the weaken debuff, and the all mirror debuff lasts for 3 turns. Then place a sleep debuff on the all enemies except mythical champion for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. So on the first form, if you guys notice one thing, I recommend you guys use the block debuff, right? Where is that already? Right there, A3 skill. Because it's saying place a stun debuff on the all enemies except mythical. But it doesn't say anything about cannot be blocked or the resisted, right? The second form has that. So you can resist or the block the stun by custom block debuff buff on yourself. But his alternate form, there is no way to resist or ignore this sleep debuff, guys. You guys gonna get it except mythical champion, okay? Also force every mythical champion to change their form again. Finally, fill Tormentor of the boss by 10% for each buff converted into the debuff from your team. So if you have a buff, this skill gonna be hurt you. Okay, so we have to be careful about we are not buffing each other before the boss using A3 ability. Let's move to the A2 skill right now. Attack enemy, 3 turn cooldown both of the skill again. Before attacking, increase the duration of the all debuff and decrease the duration of the all buff on the all enemies by 1 turn. Increase damage inflicted by 5% of the target max HP for each enemy buff has its duration is decreased. Also decrease each enemy tormentor by 10% for each debuff that has its duration is increased. Reduce the amuse, decrease tormentor effect for each awakening level on the target champion. 1% for every 1-2 level, 2% for every 3-6 levels to get the 10%. So basically, if we didn't buff each other on the A3 skill, if we wait that and the boss used the A3 skill, if we buff right now before the A2 skill, it's going to be decrease duration of the or buff by 1 turn. Also going to be get more damage. He's gonna deal more damage for the each buff that its duration is decreased. Also the stack up to 50%. So I don't know. It's a good idea to use Orb buff. Maybe we have to skip the Orb buff twice. It's gonna be hard to keep our champion alive without buffing too. But yeah, this definitely gonna be interesting A2 skill, guys. A1 skill compared to the first form, at least it is not AoE. A1 skill attack when enemy twice will ignore 100% of the target defense. Damage increased by 20% for the each debuff on the enemy. Okay. Decrease amuse ignore defense effect for each awakening level on the target champion. 5% for every 1-2 level and 10% for every 3-6 levels to get the 50%. If this attack kills an enemy, instantly active Manichal Bedlam skill, which is the A3 ability, guys. Okay. So if he gonna kill somebody on your team from the A1 skill, then he's gonna repeat the A3 again, which is super dangerous, you know, like especially if you are under any buff right now, right? By the way, he's gonna use A1 skill from the passive skill. Let me repeat it again. Finally, whenever an enemy cooldown is decreased, artifact from the masters or the skill instantly activate. So okay, like you guys need to be understand one thing: no cooldown reset champion at least on the second form, guys. Because if you reset your cooldown by artifact, accessories, masteries, or the champion, he's gonna use the A1 skill. It's trigger the A1 skill. Like he's just gonna use the A1 skill. Like if you reduction your cooldown, guys, he's gonna use A1 skill. That's it. Like that's it, literally. And if he manage to kill somebody from the A1 skill, then he's gonna use the A3 skill. All right. That was it. I think we talk about everything about the boss. His first form is definitely looks more reasonable. I don't know. We can kill the boss in 4 turn before he cut his Eclipse buff. Again, I'm assuming boss using the A3 skill first, guys, then A2 skill, then the A1 skill. This definitely gonna be nice experience. I cannot wait to try deal with it. Good thing is Pilorim said that before it's not gonna cost us any energy. So hopefully we can try as much as we want on this boss. Try to deal him, try to make a best team, you know, like how to beat this boss. I didn't mention the mythical champion, guys, because not many people have a mythical champion. I just checked the Mikage, you know, like maybe Mikage gonna be nice there, but Mikage, I don't know, like Mikage gonna give us anything reasonable on this boss, you know. Rest of the mythical champion, again, like not many people have them, so I didn't mention them, but basically like boss A3 skills, both of the form is forcing you switch your mythical champion form. Mythical champion also immune to this debuff, which is interesting. So let me know what you guys thinking about this boss. We're probably gonna see this bigger than Doom Tower content in next week. We don't know boss base stat yet, by the way. So like I said, like okay, we need to be careful about the debuffing, right? We have to be debuff the boss after he used the A3 skill, but we don't know how much accuracy we needed, right? I assume a little bit high, guys. Super gonna be high, I'm guessing. Again, if you guys have like a team idea against this boss, you know, like single Paragon, for example. Obviously, his first form is dealing nothing with the buff. Like you can use the block damage, unkillable, whatever, you know. His second form is ignoring them from this passive skill. And I catch you guys on the later. Hopefully you guys like this video and take care everybody. Have a nice day. Bye bye.